Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing the Grand Seiko Spring Drive Chronograph SBGB003, 44mm in stainless steel. It's a handsome Grand Seiko Spring Drive chrono that seems to be a bit of an exception among the Grand Seiko Spring Drive chronos in that it is just a chronograph and not a GMT. As a result, it's a bit cleaner, it's a bit leaner, and it sits flatter and more elegant on the wrist. My 16cm circumference wrist wears this 44mm watch well. It's a big watch, but it will wear on a wrist, in my estimation, as small as 15cm circumference. Now, it's broad lug-to-lug. Just to the case, it's 50.7mm, but if you include the solid and link of the bracelet across the wrist, it is far broader. 54.7mm, so this is a large watch. It's just not a terribly thick watch. I expected worse than 14.7. It has a sheer side, but it will fit easily underneath the jacket cuff. 20mm is the lug spacing, and there are strap tool holes in the lugs if you wish to accessorize. The bracelet that's equipped is a 3-link design with staggered alignment, staggered size. You can see it has a little bit of a resemblance to the Rolex Oyster bracelet. Moving in a little bit closer, you can see one of the key distinctions between the Oyster and the Grand Seiko bracelet is that there is a rolled off profile from the hoods to the flanks, and that softens the edges of the links a little bit. You can see it's nicely made. All of the individual removable links are fixed by screws. There's a half link, and then there's a clasp with several fine adjustment points inside. You can see the second half link contained within the clasp right now. You can change the anchoring of the bracelet inside the clasp using your strap tool, so fine adjustment is possible. That's not always the case with Grand Seiko clasps. Now you can see it's a twin trigger system with a raised and relieved polished Grand Seiko logo. They even managed to polish the winglet triggers. Nice. You can see the underside is well suited for sporting applications as it vents the wrist, and the deeper channels between links will avoid the pinching of skin or the pulling of hair. Jumping back to the case band, it's complex, as most Grand Seiko cases are. Not just a sheer side. You see it does have that, but it also arcs down and ends in a point at the edge of each lug. There's also a little bit of that famed black polish executed on a Salas machine. Grand Seiko calls this Zaratsu polish, and it is a hand-applied tin plate polishing that creates an optically smooth, distortion-free, mirror-like shine. It's beautiful. However, it is not the hook of this particular watch. The visual hook of this model is its extraordinary sapphire-capped iridescent metallic blue bezel. You can see it's a tachymeter bezel, and it's underneath a sapphire cap. It has a wonderful depth and luster, and that iridescent metallic quality, which is somewhere between gray and blue, is absolutely bewitching. It gives way to a nicely detailed dial, and I've often said that dial furniture is the hidden highlight of every Grand Seiko watch, because all of the individual indices are diamond-shaped and faceted, creating polished mirror-like shines as well as sharp breaks from the tops to the flanks. The same treatment is bestowed on the hands at center. They are Dauphine with satin-topped and black polished facets. You have registers for the chronograph, and it's actually quite logical, as the chronograph registers are all arrayed on the 3 o'clock side of the watch. You have minutes and hours. There is a constant seconds sub-dial, minimalist, down at 9 o'clock, and there's a power reserve for the 3-day power reserve of the watch down at 7 o'clock, because this is not one of the GMT models. You can see it has a true quick set date, and of course it has a hacking seconds. The dial base itself is a glossy and gleaming black that reflects nicely against the polished individual indices, and there's a flange outboard with both black and satin silver metallic elements that slopes down from the tack to the dial base. Underneath the caseback, you have a Grand Seiko manufactured caliber, of course, and a feature I like to shout out: all of the Grand Seiko chronographs are both column wheel and vertical clutch. So you can see the column wheel actuating underneath my finger. You can see the unidirectional governing wheel for the spring drive system. It runs in one direction, and it's the reason why the seconds hand on a spring drive jumps forward without any steps or stutters. It just cruises along smoothly. There is no break in its motion. Now, spring drive is misunderstood. It's not a quartz watch. It's a hybrid of quartz and mechanical, in that there are no batteries, there are no capacitors, and there are no motors. That unidirectional governing wheel is driven by the mainspring. The hands are driven by the mainspring. All of the energy derives from the mainspring, but that governing wheel, as it turns, creates an induced electrical current that wakes up a quartz oscillator, which in turn uses electromagnetic forces to govern the speed of that wheel. Therefore, you have plus or minus 15 second per month accuracy. Remember, a Swiss chronometer is minus 4 plus 6 per 24 hours. You've got the stop seconds, the quick set date. You've got the column wheel, which has the most positive action and the crispest actuation of any chronograph this side of an El Primero. They're on par. And then you have the vertical clutch, so you can run your chrono full time without wear and tear. And you'll also note that the hand starts without any jump or stagger because there is no play inherent in a vertical clutch system. It's a watchmaker made, watchmaker regulated, and when the time comes, watchmaker serviced movement. Screw down crown all of this 100 meters water resistant. Live the dream in one of the most elegant and distinctive chronographs on the market with an engineering trademark of the Seiko empire. Own the SBGB003 on the watch box.